What's happening, family? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with my people. As usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people that just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Al Booger. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Mike Masick, Mike Grimm. Salute to everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the BOXIjournalismNG. This is the Monday afternoon edition. How's everybody doing this Monday afternoon? Fresh off of another weekend. Another week again. Hope everybody's week has started off okay. Mine is going good now that I'm here with my people. Getting ready to talk some more of that boxing history. Because you know, if it's a weekday at 2 o'clock, it's the box story. And here I am. Did everybody enjoy the fight Saturday? I'm going to talk about it briefly. Yeah. Good competitive fight, that main event. A lot of people is saying that Hitchens is not all that they thought he was, but how about Lemos? It's like that, okay? That pressure was something. But I think you got it right. Because, you know, a lot of people say, well, Lemos was aggressive. He should have been winning those rounds. But being aggressive doesn't mean anything. It has to be effective aggression, okay? And a lot of times during Lemos' aggression, he was getting pieced up. Because effective aggression is landing clean shots on your opponent without being countered. And during his aggression, Lemos was getting pieced up quite a bit. So a lot of it wasn't effective aggression, okay? So you can't just look at aggression. So I think the judges got it right. But it was a good fight. Yeah, a good fight. But I got another big week planned for you. We're going to resume the decade shows today. Finish up this week. We got 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Work out perfectly. And of course, Friday, our weekly profile this week is the Motor City Cobra himself, Thomas the Hitman Hearns this Friday. Don't miss that one. Got another good one for you. Cat Sports, the box story in here. Getting ready to bring you some more of that boxing history. Plus 60. You know what happened in 60? That man on the screen came along. The United States had that great Olympic run, the trilogy, remember? 60, Ali, 64, Smoking Joe Frazier, 68, Big George Foreman, all got the gold medal at the Olympics, remember? Back to back to back. And then they all became champions at the professional ranks. And they all three fought each other. So we're going to get into all of that today. Yeah. The big bad bear, Sonny Liston. We're going to talk about him. Sugar Ray still went for a little ways into the 60s too, yeah. Archie Moore, man was damn near 80, still going strong. Man had like 30 fights after he was 50. Yeah. That's why I get so upset when they talk about The Rock. Marciano was fighting people past their primes. But just look at what I pointed out last week. When he fought Joe Louis was up in his 30s, but he was on an 8-fight winning streak, and he was the #1 contender. Okay? So it wasn't too many other people beating him. The Rock beat him. And then as for Jersey Joe, they say he was past his prime. But guess what? Jersey Joe was a heavyweight champion. So nobody else beating him, Rocky beat him. And as far as Archie Moore, he was older than Rocky beat him, but after Rocky beat him, Archie had 30 more fights, only lost one of them. So nobody else was beating these guys that passed their prime. So, I give Rocky the credit he deserves. But we're on the 60s today. Rocky had retired by then. That's when the WBC came along. Old Mauricio's group. But Mauricio wasn't part of it then. I only think his father was part of it yet then. But yeah, WBC came along in the 60s. The National Boxing Association changed to the world because how international boxing was getting. Okay. And the government got the mafia out for the most part in the 60s. But we still got the Bob father, Mauricio, Oscar, Don King. So who needs the mafia when we got them characters around still fixing fights and money changing hands? And look at the Tony Weeks and Rolly debacle in the Barroso fight. Think that wasn't fixed? Or George Kambosos and Maxie Hughes. Think that wasn't fixed? So who needs the mafia? Still got the Bob father, Mauricio, and them guys. Probably was better when the mafia was running it. But I always wait until 2:30, get some more of my people time to get in here. We're going to talk about the card briefly, about 5 or 10 minutes. And then we're going to talk about the history of boxing in the decade of the 1960s today. Yep, that's how we're doing it. What we got this weekend, by the way? This is the Pro Box Week. Pro Box Week. We got another hashtag Let's Talk Fashion coming up in a couple of days. Boxing fans living large. But how is everybody this Monday? Back at another week already. I don't think we have a Saturday. I really don't. I think we go from Friday to Sunday and back to Monday. But this is Cat Sports, your local box historian. Not a historian, a box historian, which is a boxing historian. That's what I am. Talking all the boxing. Because anything you're interested in, it's always better if you know the history of it, It makes everything better. I'm trying to see what's happening this weekend in the world of boxing. It's a big baby. Is this week? Not sure. I think it might be. But that card Saturday worked out great. And next week will be Devin and Ryan fight week. See, everybody thought we might not get it in. Because Ryan was acting like a deranged moron. But I think Ryan was getting ready all the time, man. And we're just 1 week away from fight week for them guys, man. Still not selling tickets like anything at all. They say ticket sales are looking bad, very bad. But hey, they still got 2 weeks. They might get a rush at the end or something, you know. We'll see. Trying to see who this is fight week for. Oh yeah, we got something out of Las Vegas, April 13th. Jordan Gill versus Alpha Barrett. This boxing. We got a women's fight, Ellie Scopely. Those women's fights are starting to look good. That's a unification. Yeah. 2 women's fights on the card. So we got some boxing coming out of Vegas this weekend. Nothing big. We got, oh yeah, it is Big Baby week. Yes, it is. Big Baby is fighting out of Texas with Riyad Murray. Time for Big Baby to step up something. Who in the hell is Riyad Murray? Never heard of him. Henry LeBron on the card. Abdullah Mason. Uh-oh. Abdullah Mason again. All right. Y'all hear that, didn't you? Abdullah Mason this weekend. Somebody's getting knocked out. Not bad. Robson Concecia. Okay. That's what we got this weekend. Okay. We're looking good. I got excited when I seen Abdullah Mason's name on there. Yes. That's a bad man. He'd be putting them away. He's fighting this weekend, 8-rounder. Did he fight 8 rounds last time? I'm not sure. It might be Abdullah's first 8 rounds. I'm not sure. He's going up against Ronald Ron. What a name. Ronald Ron. Great name. But I don't know Ronald Ron. You getting in against Abdullah. Bring your pillow, Ronald Ron. Bring your pillow, my friend, because you are going to sleep. Abdullah don't play with his food, and he gets it done early. You know, I'm talking 2-3 rounds. I think his last 2 fight was 2-rounders. Got him out of there in 2 rounds. So yeah, that's what we got this weekend. Early look at it. Big Baby. This is the second Big Baby here. Right, Jared Anderson. He said he didn't like boxing. He said he's getting out in about 3 years. He's just in it to make some money. And I thought he had a very bright future, man. The guy's got skills. This guy he's fighting. I think it's about time for Big Baby to step up. So I never heard of this guy he's fighting. Anybody heard of him? I forgot his name already. I just looked at it like 2 minutes ago. Yeah, we're gonna get started in about 10 minutes. I always like to give my people a chance to get here. You know what I mean? We got some JBT heavy hitters in here already. Mike Grimm, Mike Masick, Boxing Menu Podcast, Al Booger, Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, the Executive Vice President of Cass Sports, the Cass Sports Organization, and the brains behind the outfit. I just do the leg work, you know. I'm the Braun. But did everybody have a good weekend? Mine was okay. Enjoyed the fight Saturday. Turned out to be okay. Guy Nicholson, he's now champion. He got the featherweight belt that Amanda Serrano dropped. She's not ready for Amanda yet, so no, not even close. Sky, when she steps up a level, she gonna have to keep that right hand up because she got a habit of running around that ring with that right hand down around her waist. Amanda will come right on top of that thing and lay her out. No. Then the girl she was fighting, she kept closing her eyes up, didn't she? She kept closing her eyes. Like every time Sky, she was biting every kind of feint, every move Sky made, and she was closing her eyes. Yeah. And Sky was piecing her up. Sky has good footwork, a beautiful jab. She works that jab like magic, man. Love to see her fight. But I'm excited. I did not know Abdullah Mason was fighting Saturday. Wow. You got to get there early and get everything set up when he's fighting, man, because you take a bathroom break or go to the kitchen and come back, it'll be over, man. They'll be raising Abdullah's hand and you'll be like, what happened? They'll be over there. The doctor will be checking the other guy with shining the light all in his eyes and stuff. When you come back from the bathroom, Abdullah don't play. But I got a big week planned for you. Remember, we're doing the 60s today, 70s tomorrow, 80s Wednesday, and finish up with the 90s Thursday because I don't go past the 90s. Up in the 2000s, that's not history. That just happened. And Friday, remember, a hitman, the Motor City Cobra, Thomas Herman, famous for the up jab. Okay, the up jab. Work that jab and come behind with that big right hand, man. Outboxed Sugar Ray twice, but he didn't get the win in either one. I remember the first one, Hearns was headed toward the unanimous decision. Then he got caught in round 13 and stopped in 14. Got knocked through the ropes, remember? And then the second one, he got robbed. He outboxed Sugar Ray, but they called it a draw. Sugar Ray was still the All-American gold medal winner, and he got a lot of favorable decisions during his career, and that was one of them. The Hagler one, y'all know the story I've told you many times. Sugar Ray ducked the rematch with Hagler because you've been in the ring with a guy you know. And Sugar Ray did not want to get back in there with Hagler because he knew. Hagler, after the fight, remember, Hagler waited around 14 months trying to get the rematch, and Sugar Ray was adamant about being retired. You remember, after 14 months, Hagler gave up and retired, and then 1 month later, guess who comes out of retirement? Sugar Ray. If that ain't a duck, I don't know. There's no such thing as a duck. But what Hagler should have done was after he retired after 14 months and a month later, Sugar Ray came out of retirement, Hagler should have came out of retirement the next month. Sugar Ray probably would have went back into retirement. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT in the building. The mayor. What's up, Thomas Hill? That's where I got my name, the box story of Thomas Hill. You know, if the mayor gave me my name, I got to use it. Because if I don't, I'll be off the air quick, fast, in a hurry. Salute, Thomas Hill. Hashtag JBT. And I love that nickname, the box story, and that was perfect. That was perfect. Salute to Thomas Hill in the building. Part of the JBT. Yeah, I told you my people coming in. We'll give it about 5 more minutes and we're going to get going. Yeah. History of boxing in the 1960s. First, a quick look at the card. Now, I know you heard a lot about Saturday's card between Saturday and now, but guess what? You haven't heard the Cash Sports version yet. That's what you're going to get in a few minutes. Just go over the main event and then just mention the rest of them, you know. Might be somebody out there listening that don't know what happened Saturday. You never know. And, you know, like I was saying at the top of the show, a lot of people are now putting Hitchens down. But it's not a thing of Hitchens not being as good as we thought he was. Lemos is better than we thought he was. The kind of pressure he was bringing, he'll give any of those guys down at 140 trouble, man. Problems. Yeah. Relentless pressure. He was short too, but he was using it to his advantage. He was ducking under, okay, coming up with counters. Did an excellent job. Almost won the fight. He almost had Hitchens up out of there. What was it, 7 or 8? Yeah, I thought it was over. I thought it was a wrap, man. Hitchens showed dog though, man. He bit down on that mouthpiece because Lemos did major damage in that one. He was on it. I said, oh no. He's getting ready to get Richardson out of there. But Richardson held on. Yeah. T. Hill. You could give all those guys problems, man. Yeah, you had maybe something. Yeah. Yeah. But Lemos will be a problem at 140. I can't wait to see him in his next fight. Yeah. Hitchinson did a great job winning that fight. He showed that he don't just have to stand outside and box. He can mix it up and win the tough ones. Yeah. You got to be able to do that, man. He don't have a lot of pop, but he did enough to get his hand raised, and that's the object. When that bell rings to begin the first round, the object is to get your hand raised. Okay. Of course, you like to get them out of there and make it an early night, but it don't happen like that all the time. And sometimes you have a tough road on the way to it. Man. Ain't nothing easy about two grown men in there throwing hands at each other's head. Ain't nothing easy about that. So yeah, Hitchens, he pulled it out. We'll talk about it. Yeah, see him. Very interesting to see who Lemos will go up against next. He's earned a good fight with that performance. That was Eddie Hearn, right? Yeah, Eddie. I hope Eddie will put it. Eddie is a fair guy. He'll reward Lemos with a good fight next because he definitely earned it with that performance. Yes, definitely earned it. Now that was a title eliminator for Matias's belt, right? But you notice after the fight, Hitchinson mentioned a couple names, but he did not mention Matias. And that's what the title, which was strange because that's what the title eliminator was for. Matias's belt, but he did not mention Matias' name. No. Freestyle Media Sports, hashtag JBT in the building. Okay? Freestyle Media Sport. And everybody that's not subscribed to Freestyle Media Sports, please get over there and subscribe to their brother. Okay. He's hashtag JBT. Okay. And he did a great job on the fight call this weekend. Yes, he did. Excellent job. So please, everybody, get over there and subscribe to Freestyle Media Sports. Okay. That's Freestyle Media Sports, hashtag JBT, that is. Okay. We're always looking for others to join us. And yeah, remember we had meetings every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Had a good productive one this past Saturday. And Jay Hardcore in here? I don't see him. Salute Jay Hardcore. But yeah, everybody subscribe to Freestyle Media Sports when you get a chance. Okay. Let's talk about what happened Saturday real quick. It was from Las Vegas, Nevada. Richardson Hitchens and Daniel Lemos was the main event. I mean, the final fight. Now, Hitchens got a hard-fought unanimous decision over Lemos. Now, Hitchens started out well, moving side to side, sharp shooting. And he was making Lemos look slow and kind of overmatched, when it started. But at the end of the first round, Lemos caught him with a big right hand, and that got Hitchens' attention, right? And then in the second round, Lemos got another right hand in the rock Hitchens. And that's when things started to get interesting. And like I was saying, Lemos was short, but he was making his size work for him because he was ducking under and coming up with counters to the head and body. Yeah, he was doing a great job with those counters. Upstairs and downstairs. But by around like the fourth, fifth round, Hitchens was timing him better, and Lemos slowed down some, and that made it easier for Hitchens to start getting the shots in on him, right? And Hitchens started doing some good work with his left hand, going upstairs and downstairs, head and body, right? And then by midway through the fight, Lemos was doing a lot of missing at that point, and Hitchens, his boxing skills had it looking like he was going to cruise to a unanimous decision, man. But all of a sudden in the 8th round, Lemos hurt Hitchens bad, man, bad. I thought he was going to stop him. Yeah, I was like, oh no, he getting ready to stop Hitchens. And he stayed on Hitchens all the way towards the end of that round. He poured it on him, man. But Hitchens had made it out. That's when he started showing the dog, man. Now the 10th round was probably the best round of the fight because Hitchens said, hell with it, man. He said he started to fight fire with fire, and forget the boxing. And he more than held his own. He didn't dominate, but he more than held his own, man. And because Lemos was coming with relentless pressure, and Hitchens bit down on that mouthpiece and stepped to and went straight at him, straight at the aggression. And the championship rounds was super close, man, super close. But the judges, they gave Hitchens the nod. 115, 113 on 2 cards, 117, 111 on 1. And everybody's all upset about the 117, 111, but I'm not, because like I was saying, people say, well, Lemos was the aggressor, he should have been winning rounds, but no, being aggressive don't mean shit. The criteria for judging is effective aggression. Are you being aggressive and landing on your opponent without getting countered? Lemos wasn't doing that a lot of times, doing that aggression. He was getting pieced up some, so that wasn't effective aggression. So just because you are the more aggressive fighter don't mean you win the round, okay? It's got to be effective aggression. And Hitchens was piecing him up quite a bit in there, doing that aggression, so no. Yeah, that's a hell of a name in our booger for a judge. Him Cheeto. Yeah, Jab was doing work, freestyle. Hitchens bit down on his mouthpiece, man, and got it done. We have old school rant in the building. Hashtag JBT, that is. I'm starting to see that JBT everywhere. We got old school JBT. Old school is big in these YouTube streets. They're going to start seeing that JBT everywhere. If they don't know about that JBT, they better ask somebody. Okay, and then elsewhere real quick. The co-main, Diego Pacheco, defeated Sean McCollum, 10th round unanimous decision. I'm not sold on Pacheco, man. Can you see him in there with Morrell? Even Billy. He likely get stopped. I'm not sold on him, man. Need to put some meat on those bones, too. When he got to UD Saturday, somebody said McCollum wears his glasses because he was kind of like squinting, you know? I was over there with Freestyle Media. He pointed that out, that McCollum was doing quite a bit of squinting in there. Y'all notice that? And then Sky Nicholson, she's a champion now. She won the vacant WBC featherweight strap over Sarah Marford. 10th round unanimous decision. Almost threw a shutout. She did throw a shutout on 2 judges' cards. One judge gave Marford 1 round. But Sky's not ready for Amanda yet. And when she steps up a level, like I was telling Freestyle Saturday, she better bring that right hand up some, because she keeps it down there around the waist. Imagine in there against Amanda Serrano with that right hand way down there. He's going to sleep. Galia Fowl got the win over Augustin Mora, Gato. He got him out of there in the 8th round. That was super flyweight. Mark Castro got another win. He's I think he's 9-0 now. 10th round unanimous decision over Abraham Montoya. Paulie Medeiros got the win over Pedro Vicente Chaval. Well, you know how I remember the name. Medeiros got him out of there in the 4th round. Lightweight. Finally, Steven Navarro defeated Jose Lopez. 6th round TKO. That was also super flyweight. Okay, today it's the 60s. History of boxing in the decade of the 1960s. Whole lot happened in that decade. We're going to cover it too. You know how we do it over here at Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Trying to find my notes. There we go. Yeah, I need a new notebook to the end. Got to talk to my executive vice president about that. She's the executive vice president and treasurer. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Executive vice president, treasurer, secretary, brains of the operation. All I do is talk. Miss Cass do everything else. Okay. Now, yeah, the 60s. Oh, my slide display. I know something. I was trying to think of something. I got a big slide display for y'all today. T. Muhammad and what's the man's name? Houdini Brown, right? Yeah. Rumble Young Man Rumble. They probably finishing up saying that in that picture. Go to the top. Oh, cast the. I did it again. You know why I wouldn't go to the top? It was already at the top. I did that the other day, last week, you know. It's not gonna move toward the top if it's already at the top, yes. Right, okay. But yeah, freestyle media and sports, hashtag JBT, welcome. Welcome. He's an organization. Another fire channel. Everybody, please get over there and subscribe to him. Me and Miss Cass already is. Okay. History of the 1960s. That's what we're doing. Everybody ready? Let's do this. Yeah, big dog Thomas Hill in the building. The mayor of YouTube. Gave you my name, the box story. Perfect name. Fits me like a glove. Okay. Now, let me drop the music down some. That's right. I be blasting y'all out sometimes. You might need to tell me. Like Bill Knuckles. I told you Bill Knuckles told me turn it down one time. And I turned it down. You know? Hey. I aims to please. But everybody okay this Monday? Have a good weekend. We got Big Baby this weekend. And guess who? Abdullah Mason. Back in action. Like I was saying, you got to get there early with Abdullah. Because he don't play with his food. Abdullah does not play. Yep, in the 60s. Muhammad Ali came along. Okay. History of boxing in the 1960s. Let's get started. Now, during the 1960s, boxing, just like most everything else around the world, went through changing times. Okay? The 60s was probably the most turbulent decade of all in the 20th century. You know, Vietnam War, had a president get assassinated, had like 3 big assassinations. Remember, I'm gonna touch on that too. So the 60s was a very turbulent decade. Like I said, probably the most turbulent of the entire 20th century. You know, if you really look at it. And I lived through that. I was young, but I lived through that, man. Yeah. Now, notable things. One notable thing in the 60s was the emergence of a young boxer named Cassius Clay, who would, in his own words, shock the world. He declared himself against war and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. Now, he was the total face of the sport of boxing through much of the decade. And he was really the first world superstar in the history of sports. You know, there's nowhere in the world Muhammad Ali couldn't go that he wasn't recognized. You know, he was really the first world superstar in the history of sports. Muhammad Ali, right? That's him on the screen. Ali changed the world of sports, inside out. Not only was he the heavyweight champion of the world, he was probably the face of the decade period, not just sports, just the face of the entire decade of the 60s. Okay, I'm talking politicians, entertainers, anybody. Ali was probably the face of the decade in the 60s. Now, the 60s was marred by the civil rights movement in America and big-time political assassinations, like I touched on, like President John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy's brother, Robert F. Kennedy. You know, those were 4 major assassinations, all happened in that one decade, right? So it was turbulent. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT, in the building. Good afternoon, Lonnie Lee. You got another one started off. Let's wait. I gotta put that JBT by old school's name now. I forgot. Sorry about that, old school. Let's salute the Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT, in the building. On his way home from the gig or at home. Or he's at a red light texting. But salute, Lonnie Lee. Welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Story. But yeah, we had 4 major political assassinations, all in that one decade, man, the 60s. Now let's talk back about Ali a little bit. Now, Ali was very vocal about his opposition to the United States' involvement in North Vietnam, which was a little tiny country way over there in Southeast Asia. The United States, they had no business over there, meddling in people's business no way. They had a civil war between North Vietnam and South Vietnam. The United States way over there, meddling in that. Okay. Now, 3 years later, in 1967, Ali was arrested for refusing to follow conscription orders into the U.S. Army, right? Now, they did that because he turned Muslim. They didn't want a Muslim heavyweight champion. Muslim was looked at like a negative thing back then by some people, like a terrorist organization or something. When Muhammad Ali announced he was in the Muslim religion, they had to get him out of there. So they drafted him. Now, Joe Frazier supported the Vietnam War. Why didn't they draft him? Right? He supported the war. But no, they're going to draft Muhammad Ali, and they accomplished what they was trying to do because he refused to be inducted into the military. So he got arrested. Less than 2 months later, he was convicted in 21 minutes for violating the selective service laws and stripped of his titles, and his boxing license was suspended from every commission in the United States. Plus, they revoked his passport. He couldn't even go overseas and fight. They really did him dirty. Now, he eventually returned to boxing, but the time he missed from the sport was some of the best years of his prime, right? So, it's still talked about today. How good this man could have been if he wouldn't have missed those 3 years. Still talked about to this day. I was talking to somebody about it the other day, as a matter of fact, But that's one of them you'll never know things. Now, we had some other good fighters too. Among some of the significant boxers in the lower classes were Jose Napoles, Emil Griffith, Carlos Ortiz, Ida Joffrey, Vincent Saldivar, Ruben Olivares, Nino Benvenuti, Dick Tiger, Joe Brown, and Ismael Laguna. Yeah, we had a lot of great fighters came through in the 60s. Showtime the guy passed in the building. Salute Showtime the guy passed. Our friend from St. Louis, Missouri. What's up, Showtime? Welcome to the history of the 1960s on Cat Sports, the Historian. Good to have you in the building, Showtime. Always great to see that brother, man. Salute to Showtime, everybody. Okay. Now, yeah, we had some good boxers in the other classes and some other good heavyweights too, The Big Bad Bear, Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson. Sugar Ray came into the 60s a little ways. Archie Moore was damn near 100, but he still had 30 more fights in the 60s. Only lost one. He was the oldest man to be champion for a long time. I think B-Hop broke his record. Now, Jersey Joe was the oldest heavyweight, but Archie Moore was older than him. He was the oldest period in boxing, right? Now, George Foreman broke Jersey Joe's, and B-Hop broke Archie Moore's. Because B-Hop was in his 50s. Archie Moore was like 48. He wasn't really almost 100. Okay. And what else happened? Okay. Yeah. Now, among some of the changes in boxing at the time, it was really going international, right? Globally, outside the United States. And the first world champion from Venezuela, Brazil, and Thailand were crowned during the 1960s. Okay? We were getting a lot of the champions from other countries at that time. Remember, in the 50s, we had about 5. Remember Thursday, because the profile was Friday. But remember, we had about 5 countries get their first world champions in the 50s. Now we had like 3 more in the 60s. Venezuela, Brazil, and Thailand all crowned champions in boxing for the first time. The World Boxing Association, I got that backwards. The National Boxing Association, NBA, changed its name from the National Boxing Association to the World Boxing Association, or WBA, in 1962, due to how international boxing was becoming. Okay? And the WBC was formed when a group from the WBA in 1963 split from them, and 11 boxing representatives joined with them. They met in Mexico City on Valentine's Day 1963 and formed the World Boxing Council, or the WBC, right? That's the one that old Mauricio is a head up now. Okay? Yeah, so the WBC came along in 1963. And a new division was formed. It was the junior middleweight division that was formed in the 60s, okay? And the first champion was a high school teacher, Freddie Little, okay? He was the first champion of the division. In the 60s, fights were shown in color on television for the first time. Anything was shown in color. But yeah, boxing was shown in color for the first time on TV. Color TV came around. Now, at one point in the 60s, some anti-boxing activists wanted the sport to be abolished, okay? This happened when the deaths of boxing champions Davey Moore and Benny Kid Perry happened. Both fights were seen on national TV. You know, both fighters died later on, a few days later or a few weeks later. But the fight where the death was caused happened on TV. And then some some people jumped up and wanted to get boxing abolished. Pope John Paul or something joined in, called boxing barbaric or something. He way over there in Rome somewhere. Yeah. No disrespect to the Pope, but you know, you leave my sport alone, man. Okay. But yeah, the Pope joined in and said he was trying to help with the activists to get boxing abolished. He called it barbaric. Yeah. Now, after these two tragedies happened, the broadcasting of boxing on TV ended. TV stopped showing boxing, right, because of that. And it didn't start showing boxing again until the 1970s, right? Now, in television's absence, boxing began to be broadcast on something called closed circuit TV. And what closed circuit was, boxing telecasts were broadcast live to a select number of venues around the country, like movie theaters, you know, arenas in cities like where professional basketball, professional hockey teams played, you know, arenas on college campuses, those type of places. And what happened was people would pay for tickets to watch the fights live on big screens at these venues, right? Now, this was an early form of pay-per-view, but you had to go out in public to watch these fights, where today's pay-per-view, you can lay back in your home, lay back in the bed and watch the fights, you know. But the first pay-per-view, closed circuit, you had to go out in public to watch it, you know, at these different venues. But it wasn't being shown on TV anymore. Some people want to see the fights live, and fights happening way over in Europe somewhere, you know. You go out and watch it on the closed circuit. But we always had Wide World of Sports showing it that following Saturday, though. You know, that's how I used to watch it when I was a little boy. I watched the Wide World of Sport, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. That was their slogan. Bruce Gas, remember it? He's not in here. Old school might, I don't know, old school might be a little young for Wide World of Sports. Remember Wide World of Sports, old school? Yeah, that might have been before your time. Yeah. But, yeah. So when boxing was taken off TV, it was shown by closed circuit at these different venues around the country. You just buy a ticket, go there, watch it. I showed Sugar Ray and Marvin Hagler on the closed circuit, me and Miss Cass. I think it was Baltimore Arena. I think Miss Cass was, yeah. Where are you, Miss Cass? I can't remember. He probably was. But anyway, and remember that great trilogy run the United States had in the boxing in the Olympics in the 60s? Muhammad Ali in Rome, then known as Cassius Clay, won the gold in 1960. Then, in 1964 in Tokyo, Smoking Joe Frazier won the gold. And I don't know if he was Smoking Joe at that time. And then in 1968, down in Mexico City, Big George Foreman went gold. Now, he was Big George then. He always was Big George. He was Big George as a baby. But Big George went gold in 1968 in Mexico City. And all three of them went on to become heavyweight champions. So that was quite a run for the United States in the 60s at the Olympics. And all three of them ended up fighting each other in the professional ranks. Remember? You hear about that more tomorrow, their fights and their championship reigns and their matchup. You'll hear about that tomorrow in the 70s. That's when Big George, Ali, and Frazier all met up in the 70s. Okay? But the Olympic runs was in the 60s. Now, Frazier and Ali fought in the 60s. I think Big George might have came along in the late 60s because he was in the Olympics in 68. So yeah, he probably turned pro like 68, 69. But just to sum up the decade of the 60s. Now, boxing carried the popularity from the 50s into the 60s, right? And continued to be popular throughout America. And it was well on its way to being a very popular sport internationally at that time. Now, as the 60s went by, boxing was reaching a golden era in America, right? Television had brought the sport to new audiences and also introduced a new revenue stream, although we had that break in TV, remember? And with a young, ultra-skilled, controversial superstar like Muhammad Ali as its face, boxing was must-see TV in the 60s. Yes, it was. Oh, yeah, Mike, you definitely remember Wide World of Sports U60. Yeah, you was right there in it. Yes. Remember the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat? I came down there skiing and tumbled all the way down the thing, but I heard all he got out of that was a broken leg, Mike. You know, the agony of defeat. Yeah, I thought he would have broke his neck the way he came tumbling down that slope, but all he got was a broken leg. Hardcore Boxing News, #JBT. That's Jay Hardcore, the founder of the JBT, in the building. What's up, Jay Hardcore? Welcome to another episode of Castboard. We haven't been too long started the 60s. We are now going to look at some significant events and some fights from the decade of the 1960s, okay? Get my little slide presentation ready. Everybody okay today? Yeah, Jay remember the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. And all he got was a broken leg. After they broke everything, the way he came down that slope, he like fell out almost at the top and tumbled all the way to the bottom, man. Yeah, that was the agony of defeat. Okay, let's look at some fights and some significant events that went down in the 60s. Okay, now, oh man, give me 2 minutes. I'm not even ready. Yes, what are you doing? You should have had this ready like 1:30, man. Pardon me, it'll be ready in a minute. It was Miss Cass' fault. She was talking to me about something, and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Never blame yourself. Oh yeah, we got Abdullah Mason this weekend. I saw that. I got excited, man, because you know Abdullah, he don't play with his food, man. I'm talking 2-3 rounds. He gets him out of there. I forgot his opponent's name, but they better bring a pillow with them because they are going to be napping when that fight ends. I love watching Abdullah, man. That youngster is sharp, man. He is headed for big things in his career. And he's only like, what, 19 or something? Yeah. Kid only like 19 years old, man. I think he's damn near ready for the top level right now. I don't know, but bad boy, man. Okay. We're going to start out looking at some things from the 60s. 1960, the first year, right? Because that was the first year of the decade, right? Come on, man. Muhammad Ali wouldn't get off of my phone. Here we go. I'm ready. 1960. On January 22nd, 1960, we had the first world title fight of the decade between Paul Pender and Sugar Ray Robinson. And Paul Pender beat him by a 15-round split decision, winning the New York and Massachusetts version of the world middleweight title. Now, that wasn't the Sugar Ray by 1960, okay? But it was still Sugar Ray, and he's on Paul Pender's resume as a win. And, the New York and Massachusetts, because we didn't have these big four sanctioning bodies, so some of the states had their own titles, like California. Mexico had a title, the Mexico Championship, California State Championship, And this was for the New York and Massachusetts version of the world heavy middleweight title. He beat Sugar Ray. That was the first championship fight of the decade of the 60s, was at middleweight. Paul Pender beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay, next up. On March 16th, 1960. How did they get back? Oh, wait a minute, I didn't even show. Okay. That was Sugar Ray, kind of cloudy, and Paul Pender. I'm sorry, I didn't even start the slide presentation. Okay, it was on March, they get better. On March 16th, 1960, Filipino Gabriel Flash Eladay wrested the World Junior Lightweight Championship by knocking out American defending titleist Harold Gomez in 7 rounds. He ended the Philippines' 20-year boxing championship drought and began his own 7-year reign as champion. So until that point, the Philippines hadn't had a champion since 1940, when Flash Eladay won it. He's one of the greatest fighters to come out of the Philippines. Him, Pancho Villa, Manny Pacquiao, I would say would have to be one of those three, if you want to narrow it down to the best Filipino fighter ever. Flash Eladay, the man on the screen. Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa was the first Filipino to ever become a world champion. Or Manny Pacquiao might be the best one. Okay. On April 16th, 1960. I told you the slides get better. Pone Kingpech becomes Thailand's first world champion. He beat Pascal Perez, who was Puerto Rico's first world champion, by a 15-round split decision for the world flyweight title. And the fight was in Thailand. I told them guys about going over to them people's country, taking their titles over there. Pascal Perez went over there and got beat. And the man on the screen, wait a minute now, something ain't right. That's Floyd Patterson. Leave me Christmas. Bear with me for a minute. January 22nd. Yeah. That's I think that's Pone Kingpech there. My bad. He was the Thailand's first boxing champion. Okay, on June 20th, 1960, right. Yeah, I had missed one. Yeah, now I want to get to Floyd Patterson. There's Floyd Patterson. Now, right. On June 20th, Floyd Patterson becomes the first heavyweight in history to win the world heavyweight title 2 times. First 2-time heavyweight champion. He knocked out Ingemar Johansson in 5 rounds at the Garden. That was the first 2-time heavyweight champion, Floyd Patterson. Okay, let's go to 1961. Okay, I got it straight now. I got my slides mixed up. Again, that was because Miss Cass was talking to me when I was getting ready. Gotta blame somebody. She listening to. Okay. 1961. On March 4th, 1961. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson. Last world title attempt. Went up against Gene Fullmer. That was the final fight of their rivalry. Fullmer beat him. for the world middleweight title with a 15-round unanimous decision. That was Sugar Ray. Wasn't Sugar Ray's last fight, but it was his last fight for a title. Okay, move on to 1962. I'm gonna take my time. I got plenty of time. 1962, February the 10th. Got everything lined up now. On February 10th, 1962, young Cassius Clay. He wasn't Muhammad Ali yet. He was Cassius Clay then. Fighting in his 10th professional fight, recovers from his first knockdown, a first round knockdown, to beat Sonny Banks by knockout in round 4 in the Garden. He got knocked down in his 10th professional fight, Muhammad Ali did. Wow. I did not know that. See, I'm learning too. I am learning too. Now where am I at? Right there, yeah. On March 24th, 1962, one of boxing's most famous tragedies happens when Emma Griffith knocks out Benny Parrott. That's Emma on the left, Benny on the right. Knocked out Benny Parrott in the 12th round to claim the world's welterweight title. Parrott is taken to the hospital where he subsequently dies. And that's when TV was taken off. Boxing was taken off TV and didn't come back on until the 70s because people were, some activists were trying to get boxing abolished. The Pope chimed in. It's called the barbaric year. That's when the closed circuit TV started. You had to go out to arenas and stuff and watch the fights. Then on April 3rd, that's when Benny Parrott actually died. The fight was on March 24th. He died a couple weeks later. That's Benny Parrott right there, the one that got killed. Well, he didn't get killed in the ring, but he died from injuries sustained in that fight. Okay. Yeah, April 3rd. Benny Parrott. He was from Cuba. From Cuba, yeah. Benny was. Still in 62. Oh, Lord. My big fingers. You don't get away from me, phone. On July 13th, 1962, in his first, that's Emma Griffith again. Now, in his first fight since the Benny Parrott tragedy, Emma Griffith retains the world welterweight title with a 15-round unanimous decision of future world junior middleweight champion Ralph Dupas. Now, he was never the same after that fight. Emma Griffith wasn't. He didn't have the same killer instinct, and his power went away from him too, after that tragedy happened. It was the mind thing. He never was the same fighter. He continued fighting for years. Yeah, but never the same after that, You can understand why. Then on September 25th, 1962, the big bad bear. There's the big bad bear. Sonny Liston becomes world heavyweight champion, knocking out Floyd Patterson in the first round. That was when Sonny became champion. September 25th, 1962. Sonny Liston. Then on November the 15th, 1962. What happened? I'll get ready to tell you. Muhammad Ali again. Then Cassius Clay knocks out former world light heavyweight champion, the Mongoose, Archie Moore, in 5 rounds. There's Muhammad and the Mongoose. Archie Moore. Okay. Let's move to 1963 now. Okay, we're gonna work our way through it. On March the 21st, 1963, this is what happened. Okay, a world title doubleheader in LA. Luis Rodriguez wins the world welterweight title by defeating Emil Griffith. Told you Emil Griffith wasn't the same after that tragedy he was involved in. 15-round decision. Then the doubleheader turned tragic. Sugar Ramos takes the world featherweight title away from Davey Moore, who would later die of his injuries suffered in the ring fight. And I was wrong, because it was after this one when TV went off. Okay, they didn't stop after the first one, Emil Griffith and Bernie Perry, but then the second one, this is when the Pope chimed in, called it barbaric, and the activists started trying to get boxing abolished, and TV went away after the second ring tragedy. Okay, he died later of injuries he sustained during the fight, Davey Moore. Okay, let's go to March 25th. And there is Davey Moore, right? On March 25th. The fight was on March 21st. He died 4 days later. Davey Moore dies in Los Angeles. His death led to Pope John Paul XXIII describing boxing as barbaric and anti-boxing activists calling for the sport's abolishment. Okay, and Bob Dylan made a song called "Who Killed Davey Moore." There's Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. What's up, Bruce Gas? Me and Bruce Gas lived through all this stuff. But we lived through it. I mean, neither one of us probably 10 years old at this point here that I'm at now, 1963. Okay. But we was there. And if you like boxing history, Bruce Gas is another good channel. Because guess what? Like I told you, Bruce Gas is where I go. The box historian himself goes to history, okay? So that is a great history channel over there, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Check him out. I'm almost at the bottom of the page in names, man. Gas Sports is growing. So what was that, March 25th when David Moore? Yeah. Where is March? Oh, bear with me for a minute. Oh, here I go. I'm on the wrong side of the page. I got it. June 18th. Look, my hand keeps hitting it. Bear with me. It's Monday. Okay. June 18th, 1963. We're still in 1963. Okay. Now I can't find the cursor. Here it is. June 18th, 1963. Cassius Clay again. That's him on the mat. Muhammad Ali, still known as Cassius Clay at this point, suffers a knockdown at the end of round 4 at the hands of Henry Cooper. And then guess what happened? Cassius Clay ripped off his glove in the corner. And he made his trainer, Angelo Dundee, go to the locker room to get him a new glove, which gave him time to recover. Okay. And finally, Cooper, you know, he used to cut badly. And Ali got him cut up, and Cooper had blood streaming down his face, and the referee stopped it after round 5. But Ali took his glove off and made Angelo go get him a new glove. Cooper must have had him hurt, because he went to sent Angelo to the locker room to buy time to get a new glove. Yeah, that's Ali on the mat. Mm-hmm. And finally, for 1963, on August 10th, 1963, okay, it's Gene Fullmer. Gene Fullmer, last fight, he gets knocked out in 8 rounds by world middleweight champion Dick Tiger, Bad Man, in Nigeria. That's where Tiger was from. I think Tiger might have been Nigeria's first world champion. That was in the 50s. We talked about that, I believe. Don't quote me on that. To former surprise, about 1,000 of Tiger. Now, remember, they were in Nigeria, where Tiger was from. When Former left the arena, 1,000 of Tiger's fans were outside to greet him, outside the stadium to applaud him and express admiration because they knew it was his last fight, right? Now, that was very nice of them, man. He was way over there in another country. And when he came out after the fight, 1,000 of Tiger's fans was out there waiting for him, cheering him on, man. That was all right. In Nigeria. Okay. A big hand to hit the thing again. Just Do Boxing in the building. The voice of the streets. Coming up at 4 p.m. Okay. I'm going to take you right up to Just Do Boxing's doorstep. And then we're going in the building to listen to that build coming up, man. And gonna be a fire bill. Take it from Cash Sports, I guarantee you. It's gonna be a fire build over there. At the voice. In the building. Salute to Just Do Boxing. Okay. Now next up. Okay, we're going on to 1964 now, okay? We're working our way through it. Let's go to 1964, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. On February the 25th, 1964, Cassius Clay again, still Cassius Clay now, not for much longer. Cassius Clay, in his own words, shocks the world with a 7th round knockout of the big ugly bear. That's what he called him. Sonny Liston, to win the world's heavyweight title in Miami. That's what Rolly might be trying to be like when Rolly be calling people ugly. Because Ali called Liston ugly, he called Frazier ugly. So, you know how we always talk about how Rolly is weird calling people ugly? Maybe he's trying to copy Ali. That could be it. Because he called Liston a big ugly bear, he called Joe Frazier a big ugly gorilla. So maybe that's what Rolly doing. Okay, I don't know. But there's Ali. That was the day he beat Liston right there, February 25th, 1964. He beat the big ugly bear. Okay. Ali words, not mine. Then, on December 4th, 1964. Okay. Joey Giardello, that's him. He defeated Reuben Hurricane Carter, remember? The one that went to prison wrongfully and spent all that time. Bob Dylan made a song about it. He defeated Reuben Hurricane Carter by a 15-round unanimous decision to retain the world middleweight title in Philly. Now, Giardello would later sue producers of the movie The Hurricane. They made a movie about the hurricane, the man he beat, remember? For the way in which the fight was depicted in the movie, okay? So Tony sued the producers that made the movie about Reuben Hurricane for the way his fight with Hurricane was depicted. Wow, I told you I'm learning, I didn't know that. 1965. On March 30th, 1965. Oh, shoot. March 30th, 1965. Wait a minute now. There we go. Jose Torres becomes the first Hispanic light heavyweight champion in history. Knocked out Willie Pastrana. Willie was bad too in 9 rounds at the Garden. Same card, Elmer Griffith retained his world welterweight title with a 15-round decision over Jose Stable. So that's Jose Torres, who became the first Hispanic light heavyweight champion. Okay. Then we go to May 25th, 1965. There's Muhammad again. This is the rematch, the Phantom Punch fight. Muhammad Ali retains his WBC World Heavyweight title in a rematch with Sonny Liston by first-round knockout. What proved to be one of the most controversial fights in boxing history because few people were able to see the knockout punch. The fight therefore became known as the Phantom Punch fight. And it was also the world title fight that attracted the smallest number of live spectators in boxing history. It was fought in Lewiston, Maine before a crowd of 2,434 people. I had figured out the reason for that, but I forgot it. But that was the smallest title fight in history. Only 2,000 people came to that fight. Now, it might have had something to do with Muhammad Ali. That was really rough. I think like the first fight after he had changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. So that probably had a little something to do with it, because being Muslim was not very popular back around that time. Him being heavyweight champion as Muslim definitely was not very popular. So I think that was one of the big reasons why. I don't know, Bruce Gass might know why it was so few people at that fight, but I think that definitely had something to do with his religion. Yeah. But that was the smallest crowd. Still is the smallest crowd in the title fight history. Then on December the 10th, 1965, here's some more history. After a ceremony to honor Sugar Ray Robinson for his retirement, featuring former Robinson rivals Carmen Vasilio, Gene Fullmer, Carl Olson, and Randy Turpin, that was the English guy that beat him. Emil Griffin retains his world welterweight title with a 15-round decision over Mexican-American Manuel Gonzalez. In the first fight, that's Emil and Manuel. This was the first fight to ever be shown on color TV. So they haven't done away with TV yet. They've had the 2 deaths, but I guess TV hadn't felt enough pressure from the activists yet in the post. But it wasn't long because the second death happened in '63. But this was the first fight to ever be shown on color TV. Okay, so TV is still around right now. Okay, let's go to 1966. We're coming to the end of the decade. Because we got some profiles of some of the top fighters put in the 60s covered up too. Okay, 1966. On October 22nd, 1966, like a week after me and Aunt McQueen's birthday, October 14th, 2 great people were born. Attentive Aunt McQueen and Cass Sports the Box Story on October 14th. That should be a national holiday. Hey. There's Carlos Ortiz on the screen. October 22nd, 1966, Carlos Ortiz beats Sugar Ramos by knockout in 5 rounds to retain his world lightweight title in Mexico City, Mexico. And a riot ensued. Many are hurt, including Ortiz's manager. You see, Ortiz was Puerto Rican and he beat the Mexican guy in Mexico. In Mexico City. Remember, I think it was in the 40s. Remember, I told you about that. The Mexican champion lost, and they chased the guy that beat him out of the ring and without the belt, chased him and his team back to the locker room and wouldn't let him have the belt. I think that was Ike Williams. Beat some Mexican guy down in Mexico City, took the belt, and before they could give it to him, the crowd chased him and his team, his trainers and manager and stuff out of the ring to the locker room and said, "You ain't getting this belt." But I guess he got it eventually because he won, right? Yeah, but they chased him out of the ring. Isn't that crazy? And then finally for 1966 on November the 14th. I got to get a system there. Change the slide, then go to the date. Right. On November 14th, this is Muhammad Ali, young Muhammad. What's his name now? In what many consider to be his best career performance, Muhammad Ali defeats Cleveland Williams by a knockout in 3 rounds at the Houston Astrodome. He retained his WBC title. Let's go to 1967. Winding down. On February 5th, 1967. Okay? In another rematch of a 1966 world title fight, Dick Tiger, that's Dick Tiger, retains his world light heavyweight title with a 15-round split decision over former world champion Jose Torres. Most of the public at the fight is dissatisfied with the decision, and a large-scale riot forms after the verdict is announced. Chairs, bottles, and other objects are thrown into the ring in New York. That's Jose Torres. That's not Dick Tiger. I put the man who should have won on the screen. That's Jose Torres. And this fight was, they had another riot at this fight because everybody thought that Dick Tiger lost, and they gave it to him. And this was at the Garden, man. Wow, they act like that at the Garden. They was throwing chairs, bottles, all kinds of stuff in the ring, man. Then on the next day, February 6th, 1967, Muhammad Ali unified the WBC World Heavyweight title with the WBA, defeating the WBA's world champion Ernie Terrell by a 15-round unanimous decision in Houston. Ali kept asking, Terrell wouldn't call the story to that is, I skipped over. I don't. That was supposed to be that. Terrell would not call. He kept calling Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay, leading all the way up to the fight, all through the press conferences way in. So Ali got him in the ring. He was beating the shit out of him, and he kept asking him, "What's my name? What's my name?" And Terrell finally said Muhammad Ali too. Yeah, that was the "What's my name" fight. He wouldn't call him. He kept calling him Cassius Clay. And Muhammad Ali said, "I'm gonna make you." He could have been got him up out of there, but he just kept beating him. "What's my name? What's my name?" Yeah. And he said, "Muhammad Ali." Yeah. Mm-hmm. He beat it out of him. Then, on March 22nd, 1967, Ali retained his heavyweight title with the 7th-round knockout of Zora Frawley. That was his last fight in 3 years. That was the last fight before he got suspended. And they revoked his license to box, stripped him of his titles. Well, they suspended his license, stripped him of his titles, revoked his passport. They said they made sure he wasn't fighting nowhere, man. June 15th, 1967. Yeah, Japanese. Okay, I done got mixed up here. Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, I think this is the right one. Bear with me. Everybody, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Oh no, I got mixed up. That's where I'm supposed to be. June 15th, 1967. Japanese Yoshiaki Numata ended Flash Elladay's 7-year reign as World Junior Lightweight Champion, defeating the Filipino by split decision over 15 rounds in their title fight in Tokyo. Elladay had 10 successful title defenses. He was the longest reigning champion in the history of the junior lightweight division at that point. Okay? Down. Finally, December 14th, 1967. A couple more to go. In the first world title fight in history between two Japanese fighters. This is the first world title fight in history between two Japanese fighters, okay? Hiroshi Kobayashi, with only 11 knockout wins in 57 previous fights, dropped defending world junior lightweight champion Yoshiaki Numata 4 times before knocking him out in 12 rounds to win the title in Tokyo. Of course, it was in Tokyo. Okay. 1968. February 26th. Australia's Lionel Rose beats world bantamweight champion Fighting Harada by 15-round unanimous decision to become boxing's first Aboriginal world champion in history. That fight was in Tokyo. Okay. First Aboriginal world champion, Lionel Rose. March 4th, 1968. Nino Benvenuti recovers the world's middleweight title with a 15-round unanimous decision over Emil Griffith in the rubber match, in the main event of a card that also featured Joe Frazier's knockout in 11 rounds over Buster Mathis at the Garden. At the Garden. Remo, hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, hashtag JBT. Go sit in the corner, you're late, Remo. Okay? Let's salute to Remo. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, hashtag JBT. I don't want no smoke, Remo. May 24th, 1968. Bob Foster. Now I can find out where, man, because I know what Bob Foster looked like. That's Bob Foster. I was way down. I don't know how I got off track. So off track. Bob Foster wins the world light heavyweight title, knocking out Dick Tiger in 4 rounds at the Garden. It was the only time in Tiger's career he had fought 77 times before that he was knocked out. Wow. First time he knocked Dick Tiger out, and the first time Dick Tiger had been knocked out in 77 fight, in a 78 fight. Finally, December 6th, 1968. Okay. I'm back on track. No, I'm not either. But we coming to the profile. Lionel Rose retains his world bantamweight title with a 15-round split decision over Chucho Castillo. The decision caused the ire of the pro-Castillo crowd, and a large-scale riot ensued. 14 people, including the one judge who scored the fight for Castillo, are hospitalized. Wow. They got to that judge. That's what they knew needed. Well, they don't need violence, but the bad judge that cheated, the crowd got to him, sent him to the hospital. Yes, they did. Finally, the final year of the decade, 1969. On March 17th, 1969. I stayed on track for most of it. High school teacher Freddie Little becomes the world junior middleweight champion, defeating Stanley Haywood for the vacant world title. He was the first ever junior middleweight champion because that was the first fight at junior middleweight. Okay? Okay, Remo, you're excused. Okay. You may stay. Okay? Then June 23rd, but salute to Remo. Welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Story. Future world heavyweight champion Joe Frazier defeats Jerry Corey by knockout in 8 rounds at the Garden. And it was 3 Corey brothers. Now we have a profile of some of the top fighters that fought in the 60s. Not the top 10 best, but some of them, okay? Because, I don't do the best like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll get back where I was at. 8, 9. Come on, man. Almost ended the screen. Muhammad. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. First off, it's Muhammad Ali. Everybody smashing that appreciation button. We call the like button the appreciation button in the JBT. JBT. Okay. Muhammad Ali is first on the profile. Now, Muhammad Ali was not the face of boxing through most of the 1960s. He was the face of the decade, period. Boxing, whatever, you know, he was the face of the 60s. I'm sorry. And he began the decade out as an Olympic gold medalist in Rome. Then a few years later, he became world heavyweight champion, defeating Big Bad Sonny Liston in an upset that, in his own words, shocked the boxing world. Now, Ali used a mixture of unorthodox movement, fancy footwork, head movement, lightning quick reflexes, and blazing hand and foot speed. Well, that's Ali. I can't read my own handwriting. That's Ali. Ali dominated the heavyweight division in the 1960s. Now, due to his refusal to be inducted into the U.S. military, he was suspended from boxing, and his license to box was revoked. 3 years, right in the middle of his prime, was taken from him. And this question is still asked to this day. Like I said, how much better would Ali have been if he had missed those years? Okay, question that will never be answered. Next up is that big bad bear. Sonny Liston. I mean, big ugly bear. That's what Ali calls it. Ali words, not mine. Big bad ugly bear. Okay. Sonny Liston was a dominant contender of his era, right? And he became the world heavyweight champion in 1962 after knocking out Floyd Patterson in the first round. I just told you about that. Now, the following year, he knocked out Patterson again and became the inaugural WBC heavyweight champion. So when the WBC started in 63, Sonny Liston was their first champion, okay? Yeah, he did. Didn't he look small, old school? He was slim. Yes, he was. What the clip supposed to be today, old school? Put some sunglasses or something on looking up at that thing. We don't want you to go blind. Didn't want to be in cash sports anymore. But that's today? I did not know that. Okay, I knew it was coming up. But anyway, Liston was the WBC's first heavyweight champion. Now, he's often regarded as one of the greatest boxers of all time. And as far as skills, he was known for his immense strength, formidable jab. He had a great jab, among the best ever. Okay, he had a long reach. You know how they say some boxers can scratch their knees standing straight up? Shit. Sonny Liston could damn near scratch his ankles standing straight up. But he was known for his long reach, toughness, and he's widely regarded as the most intimidating man in the history of the sport. If it ain't Mike Tyson, it's Sonny. Mike Tyson said it was Sonny Liston. Liston was widely regarded as unbeatable until he lost to Muhammad Ali. Ali was an 8-1 underdog coming into the fight. Then everyone remembers the rematch with Ali where Liston suffered a first round knockout that led to unresolved suspicions of a fix. Okay? Next up is the mongoose. There's the mongoose, Archie Moore. Okay? Now, after over 70 fights in the 1950s, Archie Moore continued to fight into the 60s, winning 11 upright fights in the decade. And the only one he lost was to Muhammad Ali. Okay? He ended his 10-year reign as light heavyweight champion in the 60s, which is the longest reign in the history of boxing at light heavyweight. Still stands to this day. Nicknamed the Mongoose for the first half, and then when he came into the 60s, his nickname was changed from the Mongoose to the Old Mongoose, right? He was called the Old Mongoose in the latter part of his Hall of Fame career. Now, he had a highly strategic and defensive style. He was nearly 50 years old in the 60s, but he still had wins over good fighters like Buddy Turman twice, Giulio Rinaldi, Pete Rademacher, Howard King, Willie Pastrano, the great Willie Pastrano, and Mike DiBiase. He also contributed to boxing as a trainer in the 60s, working with Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, and Bob Foster. The Mongoose. Next up is Floyd Patterson. Nope. Next up ain't Floyd Patterson. That ain't no Floyd Patterson. Floyd Patterson is next in my notes. I don't see Floyd Patterson. Oh, dang. How did I skip past that, man? Floyd Patterson right where he's supposed to be. Damn, Cash. Yeah, that's Floyd Patterson. Now, Floyd Patterson twice reigned as heavyweight champion. He was the first man to be a two-time heavyweight champion, remember? Between his career, 1956 to 1972. Now, at 21 years old, he used to be the youngest heavyweight champion in history until some guy named Tyson broke it in 86. I think his first name was Mike. Yeah. Floyd was champion until that guy, Tyson, won the heavyweight title at 20. Yeah, younger than Floyd. Floyd was also the first heavyweight champion to regain the title after losing it, right? First two-time champion, Floyd Patterson. As an amateur, he won a gold medal at the Summer Olympics. I think it was it 40? I think it was 48 Olympics. Yeah, I don't know where they were. I think they were in Sydney, Australia in 48, yeah. That Olympics, won the gold. And he's recognized as one of the best heavyweights of all time. Ring Magazine voted him Fighter of the Year in 1960. Okay? Some of the names he beat in the 60s are Ingemar Johansson twice, George Chuvalo, Henry Cooper, and Oscar Bonavena, among others. Now there's Emma Griffith. That's who I had put up there. Yeah, that's Emma Griffith. Appreciate everybody sticking, rocking with me. Okay. We winding down, going toward the voice of the street snakes. But Emma Griffith, he's a 3-division champion, having held the world welterweight, junior middleweight, and middleweight titles. His career spanned 3 decades and 111 fights, with 56 of them coming in the decade of the 60s. His best known fight, unfortunately, came against Benny Purd in 1962. Griffith won the welterweight title by knockout. Purd never regained consciousness from that knockout and died 10 days later in the hospital. And for the remainder of his career, Griffith never had the same killer instinct or the same knockout power he had possessed prior to the Purd tragedy. He won 47 fights in the 60s. Some of the notable names he defeated are Willie Tawil, Benny Purd twice, Reuben Hurricane Carter, Dick Tiger, and Nino Benvenuti. All Hall of Famers except Reuben Carter. I think Reuben Carter in the Hall of Fame. And next up is Dick Tiger, as a matter of fact. Yeah, this is Dick Tiger. I'm doing my best, T. Appreciate y'all sticking with me. Yeah, Floyd didn't have no power old school at all. Yeah, he could box though. Yeah, he could box. Floyd, I think, would have been better at light heavyweight, you know? Yeah. He was another one of them small heavyweights, yeah. Now, Dick Tiger was a 2-time undisputed champion, middleweight light heavyweight. Ring Magazine named him Fighter of the Year in 1962 and 1965. And the Boxing Writers Association of America, the BWAA, in 1962 and 66. So Tiger was a 3-time Fighter of the Year in the 60s, okay? He won his first world title in 1962 at middleweight. I think he was the first world champion from Nigeria. Competed in 30 fights in the 1960s, winning 24 of them. He began his career in 1952 and fought one fight in 1970. Then he retired. The rest of them was in the 60s. Some of the good fighters he defeated in the 60s include Victor Zalazar, the great Gene Foreman twice, Ruben Hurricane Carter. Everybody beat Hurricane Carter today. Joey Giardello, Jose Torres twice, and Nino Benvenuti. Okay. Next one is Ida Joffrey. Bad man. Ida Joffrey. Okay, that's Ida connecting on the man's nose. It's not Ida getting hit in the nose. That's Ida. Ida is a hittee. You know, Ida is a hitter, not the hittee. Ida is a hitter. You know, that's a right cross, ain't it? Look like it. Because he coming right across that. Yeah, he coming right across that nose. Yeah, that's definitely a right cross. Right across that nose. Ida Joffrey. He was a Brazilian professional boxer who was a bantamweight and featherweight world champion. He is considered by many to be the greatest bantamweight boxer of all time. Yes, he is, Ida Joffrey. Know you heard of him, old school, Ida Joffrey. Yeah, there's Aunt McQueen. I didn't see Aunt McQueen come in here. Oh, there he is. Salute Aunt McQueen. Salute. I didn't know attentive Aunt McQueen from Casper's Corner is in the building. Okay, I gotta pay attention. Welcome to another episode of the Box Story. This is the history of the 1960s. We are winding down. We are in the profile phase. I got about 4 or 5 more. Right now, Ida Joffrey, that's him. Look like a right cross that man's nose, right there. Okay, he was Brazilian. Considered to be the greatest bantamweight boxer of all time by many, including Cass Sports, the Box Story. I didn't get to see him. I was very young, but I've seen him on tape. Okay, he is the only Brazilian boxer to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He went in on the inaugural year in 1990 when all those old guys went in. He called it something. Old timers? Yeah, the old timers, right? Joffrey only lost 2 of 78 fights in his career. Okay, 78-2. In the decade of the 1960s, he had wins against Sugar Ray Robinson himself. Okay, in the 60s now. Should be an asterisk by that, but on his record it just says Sugar Ray Robinson. It doesn't say old Sugar Ray Robinson or past his prime Sugar Ray Robinson. It just says Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Okay. He beat Johnny Cardwell. These people he fought beat in the 60s, some of them. Jose Madal, Manny Elias, Jose Bisbal, and Vicente Saldivar. Okay, that's a couple more. Next up is the bad light heavyweight, Bob Foster. Remember, I couldn't find Bob a little while ago. 3 more to go. There's Bob right there. Get up there, Bob. Come on. Okay, I'm messing around and bypass you, Bob. There he is. Bob Foster. It's bad when you can't read your own handwriting. That is known, K-N-O-W-S. Bob Foster, known as the deputy sheriff, fought as a light heavyweight and heavyweight, right? He was one of the greatest light heavyweight champions in boxing history, no doubt. He won the world light heavyweight title from Dick Taggart in 1968 with a 4th round knockout, the great Dick Taggart. We just talked about him, remember? He went on to defend his title 14 times against 13 different fighters in total from 1968 to 1974. So we're going to hear a little bit about Bob tomorrow in the 70s also. Okay. Now, Bob Foster fought Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali during his career. Got knocked out by both of them. I don't even know why I mentioned that. Sorry, Bob. Foster competed in the decades of the 60s and 70s, beginning his career in 1961. He had 41 fights in the 60s. He compiled a record of 37-4. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the inaugural year, 1990, when it on the old timers crew. A whole bunch of them, because they just started the International in 90. Now they had the World Boxing Hall of Fame, but the International is the more prestigious one. Yeah. And a whole bunch of them, hundreds of them, thousands, a whole bunch of them. I used to always wonder why those guys like Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano, but they didn't have it. You know, I used to wonder why it took so long for them to go as good as they were. I'm like, Joe Louis retired in the 50s and didn't make it to the Hall of Fame until 90, but they didn't have it before. They had the World, but the International is the more prestigious one. That's Gene Fullmer on the right there. Gene Fullmer was in his prime during the second half of the 50s, but he still fought into the early 60s and is known as one of the top fighters in the 60s, right? He fought a murderous row of opponents in both decades. And he had victories in the 60s over Sugar Ray Robinson. See, a lot of people beat Sugar Ray Robinson in the 60s. He really had no business still in the ring, you know, but it is what it is, you know. Over Sugar Ray Robinson, Carmen Vasilio, Benny Parrott. Wow, I told you, a murderous row. And he had a draw with Dick Tiger. He's a former world middleweight champion and also a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Went in with the old timers crew in 1990. Okay, last but certainly not least, is Carlos Ortiz. Okay, here's Carlos. Now he held world titles at lightweight and junior welterweight. Oh yeah, junior welterweight. I'm thinking welterweight. Lightweight and junior welterweight. Yeah, they right next to each other. 135, 140. Lightweight, junior welterweight, weight division. He's considered among the best Puerto Rican boxers of all time by many boxing historians, sports journalists, and analysts. On Box Story and Cast Sports list of the top 10 Puerto Rican boxers of all time, Ortiz was listed at number 1. Remember, Al Booger? Ortiz was number 1 on the Puerto Rican boxers of all time on Cast Sports, Box Story and Cast Sports list. He holds the record for the most wins in unified lightweight title fights in boxing history at 10. That record still holds to this day too. Now, Ortiz turned pro in 1955 and didn't retire until 1972, fought in 3 decades. He competed in 27 fights in the decade of the 60s, compiling a record of 22 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Okay? Some notable wins in the 60s were again, Joe Brown, Disco Andrade. Wonder if he's any relation to Boo Boo. Disco Andrade. We'll check on that. Kazuo Takayama. Anybody know? Kenny Lane, Sugar Ramos twice, Flash Day twice, and another draw with Hall of Famer Nicolino Loche. Carlos Ortiz was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in August 2001, went in like 11 years after the old timers crew. But he's in there. And there you have it. History of boxing in the decade of the 1960s. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. What Old School says, there were so many good heavyweights from the 1960s through the 70s. Nobody fighting today would have been in the top 5 or 10 back then. Yeah, I agree, Old School. I agree. Yeah. That was the golden era in the 70s, Old School, yeah. It was the golden era, man, of the heavyweight division, and that's tomorrow. Yeah. 70s come after 60s, right? That's tomorrow, Old School. We're gonna get into it. Don't miss tomorrow. And then Wednesday is the 80s, Thursday is the 90s, and that's it. And Friday is the profile. The Motor City Cobra himself, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Don't miss that one. I'm not. Don't miss that one. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. And we got Just Do Boxing, the voice, coming up in 10 minutes. Okay. This is Cast Sports, the Box Story. Getting ready to put another one in the history book. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Look forward to 2 o'clock every day. I gotta my handwriting. Anytime you can't read your own handwriting, that's bad, ain't it? Wow. I was squinting trying to figure out what these words are. But yeah, we got Abdullah Mason this weekend on the we got 2 cards. So we got Pro Box Wednesday. We got hashtag Let's Talk Fashion Wednesday. We got 2 cards Saturday. Man, big week. And then we got Abdullah Mason. Big Baby is fighting on one of the cards Saturday. I don't know if Abdullah Mason, is he on the Big Baby card? That's top. Is he top ranked? Yeah, but I don't know. Check real quick. But yeah, he's fighting. I love to see that youngster fight, man. Abdullah Mason is nice. I think his last 2 fights was like 2nd round, wasn't it? And he's fighting 8 rounds. Has he had 8 rounds before? I'm not sure. Anybody know? I know Abdullah is fighting 8 rounder Saturday. Anybody know if this is Abdullah's first 8 rounder? I think his last one was 6. I'm not for certain, but I believe it was. But I know Saturday is 8. But it ain't gonna take no 8. All he needs is 2. They can just schedule his fights for 2 rounds. His last 2 anyway. But yeah, he's on one of those cards, sir. The Big Baby is fighting again. This is the 2nd, not the original Big Baby. This is the one to say he don't like boxing and he's only going for like 3 more years. But the guy has talent, man. Yeah. He has skills. He can move big as he is, man. Yeah. Checking on it now. But he's fighting Saturday. Yeah. Great card this weekend. Yeah, you were right about Lemos, and when you was telling me Friday, Lemos, he's okay. He brings that pressure. Everybody is on Hitchens, but yeah, he did talk a lot of trash, but it wasn't a thing of how bad he fought. Lemos just like that. He give a lot of those guys trouble at 140, man. Yeah. Gustavo Lemos. I'm gonna start keeping track of him. I hope Eddie put him in a good one. He's earned a good fight next. Yeah, Eddie, look out for Lemos. He might not be your big breadwinner or nothing, but hey, the man got, well, I ain't gonna say skills, but hey, he's a problem in that ring at 140. Yeah, I was impressed. I thought he had Hitchens out of there in the, was it 7 or 8? I was like, oh no, he done stopped Richardson. I thought he had Richardson up out of there, man. Sure did. You right, T Hill. That was the first time I saw him. I had talked to Ant Friday. I went and looked at him a couple fights, but that was the first time I actually saw him, live. Yeah. He's like that, T Hill. Yes, he is. I can't wait to see him again. I cannot wait to see Richardson again. Okay. Abdullah is on that card with Big Baby. That's a pretty good card. Got Henry LeBron on it. Abdullah. Conceição. Robson Conceição. I hope they don't rob Robson again. That man been robbed like 2 times of titles. This is not a title fight here, though. But I think he beat Valdez for that WBC at 130. He didn't get it. And then he beat Navarrete? Yeah. I guess it was the WBO at 130. They didn't give it to him, man. That man should have been a champion. Yeah, they robbed Robson twice. He should change his name, I guess. Yeah, Robson, change your name, bro. You keep getting robbed. Change it to Winston. You might win something, Winston. And say Seattle. You know what I mean? The man keep getting robbed. I thought he beat Valdez. And I thought he beat Navarrete. Navarrete was too happy to have that draw. He wasn't upset at all. Like, yeah, I keep my title. Navarrete was like, whew. He was happy as shit to have that draw. So that tells me he knew he got beat. But Robson, I don't know. But anyway, Robson will be in there Saturday. He's going up against, oh Lord, not Big Fingers. Damn. I done came off app. I mean, the site. It was ESPN. I like ESPN schedules because they put the whole card. Some of them like bad left hook. They just put the main event, man. I want to know the whole card. All the way up to the day they fight, bad left hook will just have the main event. ESPN does put the entire card on there. Yeah, I'm coming up on it again. We got about 5 minutes. And remember, everybody, this is still early in the JBT day. I'm just the second act. We got Just Do Boxing at 4. Jay Hardcore is spinning the block. He wasn't here. I guess he went back, continue to spin the block. He'd be back around by 8. Back in the hangout by 8. And then we got the closer at 9. The Rise Park class going to shut it down. And remember, you might see the face of boxing, both his coaches, Calvin Ford, Kelly Ellison, there chopping it up. Who knows? One day you might see the face of boxing in there. Might be tonight. Who knows? So that's 9 o'clock. The Rise Park class. Putting it down, and then they turn out the lights and close the door on the JBT day, and it starts all over again tomorrow. 4 o'clock just snuck up on me. Let me get out of here. I don't want to go into the infringe on any of the. Is that the right word? Of the voices time. But it don't matter. If I stay on past, ain't nobody gonna be in here. No way. They're gonna be listening to the voice, so I might as well get off. Right. I'm trying to see who Robson fighting real quick. Jose Ivan Guardado, heard of him. 8 rounds. What is Robson doing fighting 8 rounds? That man done 12-round championship fights. Damn. 8 rounds for Robson. Okay. Attentive Aunt McQueen from Casual's Corner. You have not watched the fight until you watch one after Casual's Corner. Remo, let's talk fashion. Hashtag JBT. We get the preview tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna still do it, even though Remo don't like old people. I'm still gonna get the hashtag Let's Talk Fashion preview because I want to see what's going on this. Prior show, Wednesday 10 a.m. Just Do Boxing was in here. The Voice, he's coming on in about 3 minutes. Jay Hardcore had hashtag JBT, the creator of the JBT. Back on around the block. He'll be back in the hangout by 8. Join us over there. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Another great boxing channel. That's where I go to get my history. Showtime, the guy passed. Alfred from St. Louis, Missouri. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Old school, hashtag JBT. That JBT look good on it. Old school. Freestyle Media Sports, hashtag JBT. Okay. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT, the mayor of YouTube Boxing. Salute, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you stopping by. Mike Rim, Mike Masick, the Boxing Mania Podcast Plus, Al Booger, always in here. And Miss Cash, hashtag JBT, the executive vice president of Cash Sports and the brains behind the operation. Like I told you, certainly not me. I'll just talk. That's it. Okay, everybody. Another Cash Sports going in the history books. Appreciate everybody for rocking with me once again. My growing channel. Everybody have a great day. Like I always say, you ain't getting rid of me that easy. Because I'm going to catch y'all in Just Do, the Hangout, and the Rise Podcast. Okay? But anyway, everybody have a great rest of the day. Still early in the JBT day. We've got some fire episodes coming up. Enjoy them. I'll be over there with you. Let's go to see what Just Do Boxing, the Voice, is talking about. Gas Sports.